Hi, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with Genesis Kingdom, Part 1. Today's topic I picked, I was blind, but now I see. I had the most amazing revelation from it, and God is amazing. Mother Yahweh is giving me the eyes to see, the ears to hear. And I really hope that this message really, that you receive it. You know? And here we go. And it's just little things. I'm going to start off with John 9. And I'm going to read it. As I go, I'm going to stop and then be able to explain some of them, so you could be able to see it opposed to what the Bible says, you know? So it says, John 9, 1, excuse me. He said, as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from birth, his birth. And it's spiritual blindness. This is Bible verses that have to do with spiritual blindness, not the kind of blind that you think it is. So let that sink in. And it says, and his disciple asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Let me let you know from right there, from the very beginnings of Genesis all the way to now Revelation, our parents ended up getting lost of the things of the world and never made it into the promised land. So it's been the offset. So because they became and started worshiping the dark, they became spiritually blind. So they're not able to see. All they're doing is living. They made man as the idols. And I also have Bible verses to pick it up. So he's asking, who was it that sinned? Was it the parents or was it the children? And this is his answer. Understand, Jesus is Satan, is not who you think he is. You know, wake up. And again, go to Luke 23 down. The grandfathers also Hellenists. All that comes from Adam. And Adam had fallen, and he calls the god of hell because he got sentenced to hell. He perished. He died. Okay, now it says, Jesus answered and said, neither had this man sinned, nor his parents, but the works of God shall be made manifest in him. He said, okay, remember, we got the creature, and then we got God speaking in here. And you got to use your discernment and wisdom and study to get that revelation. So he said, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. It says, the night cometh, no man can work, right? Because in the day, you're able to see, right? If you were walking in the daylight, you could see. But if you're walking at night with the children of the dark, then you can't see. So the night comes, you know. That means during the day, when you're not spiritual blind, you're walking with God. You're walking, following the Ten Commandments. You're water baptismal. You're not functioning in the things of the world. You're children in the light, in the darkness. So when you are spiritually blinded, that you're not able to see, that you're walking in the sinful world, the nature, then you're actually with the children of the darkness. We're in the world, but not of the world. So you're functioning as children of the darkness. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And that is the Creator talking. That's in red. It's the Creator talking. As long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. Her light shineth on us. And then it goes now to John 9:6. When he had those spoken, he spat on the ground, and he made clay and spittle, and anointed his eyes of the blind men with clay, right? So it says, and he said unto him, go and wash the pool of Siloam, which is interpreted sin. Interpretation is called sin. But he went on the way, therefore, and washed and came seeing. Now listen to this, okay? So after he washed himself with the holy baptismal water, because there's more to that Bible verse than that. This is what he said. John 9:8. The neighbors therefore said, hey, that which before had seen him, everybody that had seen him before, he was blind. And now, not this is he that, isn't that he that was sat and he begged? Isn't that the one that was begging? And some said, and the other said, he is like him, and he is him, that I am he says. Therefore he said, they unto him, it says, how were that thine eyes open? He said, right? He answered, he said, a man that is called Jesus made clay, anointed my eyes. And he said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went to wash, and I received sight. Now, if you remember when Jesus is sitting there, the whole thing about Jesus, our eyes were mudded. Our eyes were mudded because we weren't able to see, because we made him an idol and we forgot about the creator. It was always man, 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 man. So he mudded our eyes that he is he, and it is in here. There's more Bible verses that backs up exactly what I'm saying and exactly what the Bible means. It's always more to the Bible than what it says. So he said he bodied us, he made us. He said, but then he said, go wash yourself in the water river and you'll be able to see. So when he went into the water baptismal and started following the creator, the 10 commandments, went into a water baptismal, now he walked. He's no longer begging because he came back into who he was created to be. That's what mother is doing, bringing you back, renewing your mind, getting washed and doing that so you could come into your inheritance, and you don't need to be out there begging. You don't need to be walking out there lost and alone. You don't need to sit there and be counting change. And I got sent to open your eyes. I got sent to open your eyes, remove that clay, go into a water baptism and sit there and get baptized and come back into your inheritance. That's why they try to stop you, so you don't get it. And this is what I went to go look at. It says the word Siloam. It's S as in Sam, I as in Indian, L as in Larry, O as in Oscar, A as in Abraham, M as in Mary. Okay? It says it has a prophetic connotation. Remember, we went through this with connotation, meaning sent. When the Spirit of Christ interacts through one's testimony, he is displaying a visual sign, as also seen in John, visible sign that must be displayed before God. And then it says, Eschatological. Sorry, there you go. The judgment begins, okay? The study of that is the end times, rather of the end of an individual's life or of the end of the age, right? It's the end of the world or the nature of the kingdom of God. So, this is where you're going to end up. Either you're going to end up with money, believing that Jesus is God, is Lord, man. You're never going to walk into your inheritance. It's a renewal of your mind. So he mudded his eyes. Of course he did. So this guy's saying, hey, you know what? And he said, hey, go wash yourself in the water. Oh, what is it? It's an enigma, almost like for you to puzzle it, for you to know what it says. And there's more to it that explains exactly what that means. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say that. Well, yeah, you know what? He mudded it. He sat there so you don't see. He mudded, he got clay, he spit on it, and then he put clay on it. He sat there so you don't see. And then he's all like, hey, I want to. And there's more to it. So then after that he went and got water baptismal, because he said he went to the water and he got, in the water he came to, right? And then they said, hey, wasn't that the man that was begging? Now he's over here. What? Isn't that what you want? And she tells you every time how to do it and sends you people to tell you that. And you push those people away because the enemy has you exactly where he wants you, for you not to listen to what I have to say. So you don't get healed, so you don't get clean, and you don't have to beg. You own states and cities and vineyards that belong to you and your family, that our ancestors fell asleep, that they became spiritually blinded. And it says, do not follow the ways of your fathers. Sit there and turn to me, and I will turn to you. And this is in there. Why do you think the enemy fights me so hard? Because they know I'm not worried. We're walking into our inheritance. I don't care. I'm finishing my course. But this is not just about me. This is about you to come back into your inheritance and stop believing the lies of the enemy. They come at you sideways and everything because then you get the hardest from hell and Satan that had dominion and this fake Jesus that made himself God. When are you going to wake up? And it says it on there just exactly what it says. Now it says, I must work. Listen to what he says. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day and night that cometh, right? And then he said, but they had no man that could work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. That is a creator. But when and then it goes, because it's a creator and the creature talking. But when those have spoken, he spat on the ground, he made clay, spittle, and anointed the eyes of the blind man, of the man with the clay. And then he said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam. And something that it had to do with the Bible. I don't know if you have that kind of Bible, you're going to see it. When God is speaking to you, you'll see it. But they twist things, but I'm just telling you, when it's God and creature, pay attention, you'll know the difference. So then it goes, when he had spoken, he spat in the ground and then the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with clay. And he said unto him, go and wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sin, right? But there's more to it. And I just read it to you. And he went in on his way, therefore, and he washed and came seeing. The neighbors, therefore, and they which were before him, seen him, and that he blind, and said, not he that sent, but begged, right? He says, isn't that the one that was out there begging? And it says, some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he. Because they were like, no way, you were out there begging. Now you're doing good. Hey, now you're in the land flowing with milk and honey. It's the renewal of your mind. When you live that blood covenant and come into a water covenant with our Creator and stop fighting the messengers and listen to the message, and they will turn around for you. You guys have been sitting there waiting. I have too, but I had a mission. My mission is you to open your eyes and remove that mud and that clay off your eyes. That's my mission, to finish my course. And I have kept the faith. The faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. But I had to bring you to him. We're bringing you back home to the land, to the God of the living, not the God of the dead. And that is, you're going to see him mudded. Get water baptism. Stop following the ways of the world. And it says, and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin? And the man said, his parents. And he was born blind. I'm sorry. It took me back down. Let me go back up there. I was like, if not, I would have repeated everything again. But I was repeating how he was saying, oh, it is he. And there's more to this Bible verse. It's amazing revelation. Amazing. And if you don't get it, no, you'll get it. I pray to her that she gives you the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So now I'm starting back up in John 9:10. Therefore they said unto him, how are we thine eyes open? Therefore they said unto him, how are we thine eyes open? He answered and he said, a man that is called Jesus made clay, anointed my eyes unto me. Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and I washed and I received the sight. Do you see that? It's a twist to it. It's almost, he said, he put the mud in the clay so you don't see. You were blinded. But then he said, go to the pool. He said, he anointed, it says, and anointed my eyes and said unto me, go to the pool in Siloam and wash. And I had washed my eyes and I received sight. So he's no longer seeing. And there's more to it in what he says. Listen. Then he said unto him, where is he? And he said, I know not. They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was a Sabbath day. And Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Okay. Again, the Pharisees said unto him, who is he that have received the sight? And he said unto them, he put the clay upon my eyes, and he washed he wash and do see. Therefore, some of the Pharisees and this man that is not of God, he said, this man is not of God because he keepeth not the Sabbath day. But others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? Okay. How can a man that does such sinners do such miracles? There was a division among them, right? So they said unto the blind man again. And if you remember the story that he was pure, he hadn't done nothing. Do you remember that? Okay. You get the one, the anointed one, the anointed one. Get it? The anointed one went and said, hey, you go wash yourself with the holy baptismal water. Follow the 10 commandments, not the way of the world. And it removed the mudded that you were put it about Jesus being a king. The man. And how do I know that? In Revelation, I believe it is 13 or 22, the woman is going to be given the sun and the moon under her feet. It's a woman king. It's daughters, and yes, we have a king next to us, but it's in Revelation, it tells you that. Understand that. And he said, hey, how is the sinful man doing that, right? And there's more to it. They said the blind man, it says, and they said unto the blind man again. Hold on. Just kind of just kicked me down a little. And they asked and saying, how is his, sorry about that. And they said unto the blind man again, it says, what seest thou of him? And he had opened thine eyes, and he said, he is a prophet. And the Jews said not believe concerning him, but he that had been blind received the sight, until they called the parents of him that he had received his sight. They asked him, saying, is this your son? He says, and you say, that I was born blind, and now that he could see? His parents answered and said unto him, we know that this is our son, and he was born blind. By the means he is now seeth, and he knoweth now that he had opened his eyes, and know not, but he is of age. Ask him, and he shall speak for himself. These words he spake to his parents, because they fear the Jews. The Jews, they were agree already that if a man confesses that he was Christ, right? You got, when they have Jesus, and then you read the Bible, pay attention to that. You'll see Jesus, and then you see Christ. And then you see almost when it says the Christ, the anointed one, and then you'll see that they add Jesus in it. Pay attention. This is like, it's in there, brothers and sisters. Then again, the man said, the blind unto him give the eyes. I'm sorry, it says this is the words that the parents, because they fear the Jews, for the Jews agreed already that if any man confesses that he was Christ, that he will put him out to the synagogues. And Christ means the anointed one. Therefore, his parents, he is of age, and asked him. The parents said, he is of age, ask him. Then again, he called the man that was blind and said unto him, give God the praise that we know that this man is a sinner. He answered and he said, rather you be a sinner or no, I know one thing that I know, whereas I was blind and now I see. Then they said to him, it says, what did he to thee? He opened, it says, how did he open thine eyes? And he answered then, it said, I have told you already, and you did not hear me. Therefore you will hear it again, and you will, it says, will you also be his disciples? They reviled him, and they said, Thor is his disciples. It says, but we are Moses' disciples, that we know that God has sent unto us Moses, for he follows, and you know not whence he is. The man answered and said unto them, why heareth marvelous things, and you not know? When is it that he had opened my eyes? And he said, go and heareth not sinners, for any man that worships of God and doeth his will of him heareth. But since the world began, was he not heard? If any man opened their eyes, and one too that was born blind, this man were not of God, then he could not do nothing. He answered and he said unto him, though altogether born in sin, that thou teachest us, and he cast him out. Jesus heard, and they cast him out. And he found him, and he said unto him, doest thou believe that on the Son of God? Remember, it's not a father and a son. It's a mother and daughters, okay? This is what he says. He answered, and he said, who is he, Lord, that I may believe on him? Jesus said unto him, thou hast seen him, and thou hast talked with thee. But he said, and he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshiped him. This is what Jesus said. And Jesus said, for judgment I come into the world, for they which see not, they may see. Okay? Now listen to this very careful. Jesus said, for judgment I have come, because of judgment is why we were down there. Get it? We were in sin. So in judgment, he said, I have come, right? Into the world, that they which see, the ones that are able to see, that may not see. Get it? He said, I have come for judgment. He said, but the ones that could see, meaning that you were believing, right? That we were waiting for the Creator. And he's saying this, for the ones that could see, he said, I'm going to make sure that they don't see. And this is exactly what it says. It says, for Jesus said, for judgment I come into the world, that which see, that they may not see. And get it? So the ones that could see, I'm going to make sure that you don't see. And that's exactly what it says. And this is John 9:39. And then he also said, and they that could see might be blind. Do you get it? He said, the ones which they see, that they may not see. So he said, I will make him spiritual blind, right? And he says, and the ones that could see, he goes, that they may be made blind. That's what he came to do. Do you get it? So you could believe, man, Father and Son, do you believe that? And the one that comes to tell you no, that is the Antichrist. And that's exactly what the Antichrist is telling you. All I'm not telling you to worship me, by all means. I don't say that. I said, open your eyes and look to what's right in front of you. Open your eyes. Water baptismal. Get baptized with the holy water. Live the sinful world, that blood covet, and come into the water covet so you could see. And you come into your inheritance. And that's what they're trying to stop you. Do you get that Bible verse from the creature, what he's saying? Come on. It's in there. And he says it exactly like that. But if you don't see it, if you're not reading it, you don't really get that revelation. All right, hold on. I'm going to read it one more time for you. In John 9:37. And Jesus said unto him, thou hast both seen him. Okay, wait. Actually, it's John 9:39 that I'm repeating. Jesus said, for judgment I am come into this world. Because he got sent. Because of judgment. Satan got sent. Because of judgment. But this is what he said. He said that, it says, that they which see not might see. Okay? And they which see might be made blind. Do you get it? He said, if you do not see, then it says it's all right. I'm going to make you see that it's me, right? Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know the truth, right? You don't know that. So you're waiting on this Creator, right? So he said, hey, I am he that sent. I am he that sent. I'm God, Go ahead. If you don't worship me, Father and Son and Holy Spirit, you're going to die. I don't tell you that. I don't tell you that. The anointed ones don't tell you that. The anointed ones that are really sent from our Mother God are going to tell you to open your eyes so you could see. And that is a water covenant, the 10 Commandments, and coming back to the Creator and living the Satan matrix, the blood covenant, that Jesus is Lord and Father and Son and Holy Spirit so you could get saved. And he tells you in that. He says, I have come. And Jesus said, for judgment I have come into the world, that they which see not, that they may see. Because you don't know. So if I'm going to get you to come in here and believe this story that I'm saying, those are connection. Remember, I just did that with you. Then you're going to believe me because I'm saying. So you're going to believe something that has never been seen. Right? It says, And then he says, and they which see may be blind. Because, you're able to see, right? So you're able to see and But then I'm coming to you and I'm saying, hey, and I'm God. I'm the one that got chosen. I'm the one that called the same. You have to worship me. I'm God. And then they're going to start, oh, yes, it is you. Because he's doing signs and wonders. They're doing sorceries. They're doing witchcraft. They're doing all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he's saying. Well, they will worship me. And of course, you get the Pharisees. The Pharisees, well, that's tomorrow, so I'm not even going to get into that right now. But anyways, it says, and some of the Pharisees which were with him, and these words they said unto him, it says, are we blind also? Yeah, we are. Jesus said unto him, if you were blind, you should have no sin. Get it? No sin. He tells you. He tells you. Jesus said unto them, if you were blind, you would have no sin. If now you see, then we see, therefore, your sin remaineth. Because we're walking in darkness because of sin. So we can't see, right? But if you could see, then you're not walking in sin. Because you know the truth. He tells you. Do you get it? It's in there, brothers and sisters. It's all in there. But you have to look further in it. There's more to what we're just reading. And the lie that we were raised with. I was raised with that lie, And this is just me, the analogy of the Connotation that it was telling you and how they made up, it's almost like made up the story, but get the unbelievers not to believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just say, well, no other story but the true story that happened. They made up a story about a star that fell, that came, and I'm not lying to you. I was looking for that star when all this was being prophesied way back then. I was looking for that star, and I honestly believed. I believed it. I sold into it all the way. But I'm not blind no more. I'm not walking in sin. I'm able to see, because you're able to see, you're able to read. You get the eyes to see, the ears to hear. And then you actually go in there to study. And that's why they were like, they will never know. They will never puzzle it together. Enigma. It's all in there. So they twist it. So then that way you stay blind. And he tells you right there. And if that last Bible verse doesn't tell you what it says, you're walking in darkness. Jesus said unto them, if ye were blind, because the Pharisees asked him, and then some of the Pharisees were with him, they heard these words, and they said unto him, are we blind? Yeah. And he says it. Jesus said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. Because you know that that's what keeps you away from not seeing the truth. And he tells them that. If you were blind, you should have no sin. That means you're hearing the truth. But it said, and if now you say, we see, therefore your sin. It says, and if you say, if you are blind, then you should have no sin, right? Because you know the truth. That means you come in a covet, no sin. You live that lustful world, the blood covet with Satan, and you're coming back to the Creator. It says, but now you say, we see, therefore you sin. You know what I'm saying? Sister said that if I'm saying he is him, that's him, that is so him, then he said you're still walking in sin. Because you're making me God, and I'm not God. And he's not. Open your eyes. So I'm going to finish that with part 1, and I'll do part 2. And I hope that's able to help you in with Connotations and Enigma. Reading more into it, gave me more discernment, Open your heavenly eyes and ask for heavenly gifts. Make no man no idol. That's what keeps you in bondage. And that's what keeps you not walking into your promised land. It's the renewal of your mind, really studying the Bible. No sin. No sin. Live in that lustful world, whatever it is that it is out there, let it go. Come back into a covenant with the Creator. And you'll start hearing of beautiful revelations going around in the world. Yeah. Well, I pray that this is able to help you and reach you, and I'll do part 2 and close it up.